Hello, and welcome into See You Next Tuesday. He's already mouthing it because every time he answers my FaceTimes, he says, hello, please welcome in Zack Peter.
Hi.
I hate saying your full name, just like Zack Peter, because I always want to put an S, Zack Peters, but it's not. So, and to
Nope.
me, your full birth name is just plain Zack and or hashtag no filter.
See, people think that my name is Justin because my handle is just plain Zach.
Oh.
So I think in their brains, I mean, I shouldn't say people. I've had a couple, like a very small handful of people that are like, oh, I forget your name's not Justin. And I'm like, that makes no fucking sense that my name would ever be Justin. But okay, that just goes to show you have a short attention span.
I mean, I often, like, when I see people change their Instagram handles, I'll get upset because I've known them by that for so long that I feel like it's like they're changing their entire identity. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. And also, half the time I'm saying everyone's Instagram names wrong. Like, my brain will just, like, make up what the word really is when it's actually a real word.
Yes.
Does that ever happen to you?
All the time. I love calling people by their Instagram names.
A lot of people call me Little Baby Kate's, and I'm fine with that. I mean, come out of quarantine, I'm going to be rolling down the street. It's not going to be much Little Babe Kate's, but here she is.
But I don't love being called just plain Zach out in the streets. Like, call me Zach. I don't need you to call me just Zach.
What is, like, just plain Zach? Because if anything, you're not plain.
I mean, it was supposed to be like a paradox or like an oxymoron of like, I'm not just plain. It would be like just plain exciting, like just exciting and just plain are not. So it was supposed to be like a paradox, mainly because I wanted the handle at Zack, at Z-A-C-K, and the people that had it wouldn't give it to me, and I would try to buy them off of it and offer sexual favors, and they would not accept it. So I just had to settle, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll do like just Zack, at just Zack. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, like from Will and Grace, just Jack. And I'm like, I
don't want to be copying.
That's not my vibe. So I ended up pivoting and just doing like, well, just plain Zack. And then it just became a thing. And it's been a thing for like, I don't know, a long time now.
So Zack does a lot of things that are really strange, like hangs out in jeans at his house as if that's comfortable. But one of the ones that really, I can't, you and your fucking jeans. One thing that is also one of them is that you drink hot coffee out of a fucking metal straw. Please bring the cup back up so everyone can see what I'm referencing.
Look,
this fucking metal straw.
Look, I'm just a relatable bitch, okay?
I mean, it's because it helps your teeth stay white, and I do have to say, your teeth are pretty much the same color as that fucking mug, so it's working. So I should stop busting your chops. Oh, we'll also be FaceTiming, and he'll just head to the freezer for a handful of frozen peas. Just a little
I don't
snack.
get why you find it so, like, appalling that I enjoy frozen peas as, like, a snack. Frozen peas and ice are my two favorite snacks, baby.
Oh, ice is fine because it doesn't have any taste. But one, I hate peas. So
I love peas.
The thought of the deflating, tiny, disgusting peas in their soup on my plate as my mom's like, eat them, Katie, and I'm like, ugh, no. And then you're gonna have them still be frozen. It's like the kids on the bus who used to bring a ramen packet raw for lunch and eat it on the bus raw.
I actually enjoyed that.
My teeth!
Like, before I became a celebrity, I used to love eating the ramen packets out of the plastic bag, and you would open the plastic bag, and I would sprinkle the little packet onto the hard ramen, and that was, like, so yummy to me. I love crunch. Probably because.
What else did you do before you became so famous?
I did a lot. I used to eat Hot Pockets. I used to eat gluten and dairy before. I consumed like candy with like artificial dyes in it.
I'm probably just not famous enough then because I'm still eating gluten and sugar and dairy. It always cracks me up when anyone is like, oh my God, Katie, you're so famous. And I'm like, I've got 5,000 followers and I sit on my couch and smoke weed all day. What? Like, I'm
Listen,
not fucking famous?
when your nudes are dissected on a reality show and then you get recognized for your censored penis out in public, you know, it's a new vibe.
It's just rude though, because that wasn't even your dick.
Yeah, that too.
I'm just crying from talking about your penis, so I'm just gonna wipe my eyes like I've been giving a sloppy blowjob, and I'm just gagging.
Blowjob.
I just discovered I was watching porn, and there's apparently this whole like blowing bubbles on dicks. Like they use their saliva and they literally just like, and they're like, it's like bubbling, or like they like, and like a bubble comes out and the guys are just like, oh.
That's really gross.
I'm also wondering, like, do guys, because you're the wrong guy to ask, but do guys like the sound of like the like, like, is that the whole appeal? Because I'm trying to be as quiet as possible when I'm giving head because I don't want to sound like an idiot. But I think that they might really enjoy the like sound.
Guys enjoy that. I don't enjoy it because I'm just like, or I just want to be like, are you okay?
That's my. I don't want them to think that I'm like, you know, dying.
Yeah, to me it's like uncomfortable because it makes me think that you're uncomfortable when you're doing it. So it's like, well, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Like, I want you to enjoy sex with me. Like, I'm obviously having sex with you because I'm insecure and I need you to make me feel sexy. And if you're like gargling and choking, then I'm like, obviously I'm putting you in discomfort and that like affects my daddy issues and I can't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I keep Zack around. He literally makes me ugly laugh 10 times a day over this shit. It's fucking incredible. I have sex with these guys to get validated.
It's true. Anybody that says they have sex for the fun of it is half lying. Like, half of it is because you want to feel sexy.
I think that because I've done that where it's like, I'm going to have sex with guys, and the more guys I have sex with, the better I feel about myself. But now I'm like, whoa, please respect me before you get on the ride. Like, I don't want to just do it. So maybe you just like, it's growth.
Yeah, I'm not saying it works. I'm just saying it's a very unhealthy like pattern.
It's just a pattern I keep doing.
To therapy for.
I am the therapy friend that's always like, you should go to therapy. But then I saw a meme that said the friends that are therapy friends need the most therapy. So now I'm not going to say it to anybody else because I don't want to be that bitch. But I'm in therapy.
You're Bible thumping Barbara with your therapy. You're like, you need to go to therapy like every day. Katie's like, you should probably go to therapy for this. You should probably go to therapy for that.
And it's one issue, and I just feel like you could talk to somebody about it. Everybody could use some therapy. Like if you've got,
I've done therapy.
I
watch like gurus on Instagram. I read self-help books.
That doesn't always work. I don't know. For the people out there who like don't believe in therapy and shit all over it, I feel like you just got to try it. And sometimes you don't have the right therapist at first, and you have to try like a bunch of different people. It's like finding the right antidepressant or condom. You just have to try a bunch of them.
Exactly. And then like, see, but for me, the reason like therapy isn't great, like there was one therapist that I went to go see and I really just booked an appointment with him, not because I wanted therapy, but because I thought he was hot and I wanted to fuck him in his like studio or whatever, what do you call office, therapy office. And then my other therapist, who's the one that I had for the longest time, I like give her therapy now because like we're friends and we've just like totally like destroyed all boundaries.
Okay. I guess.
So, like, boundaries just, like, aren't my thing.
Boundaries aren't my thing either. So I went into 2020, like, with my word being, like, boundaries. Like, you need to learn. Because I'm a very, like, loud, strong-willed person, but I'm also a complete pushover. Like,
yeah, I feel like
that.
your boundaries are more of, like, your interpersonal boundaries with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
My boundaries are, like, if other people have boundaries, I have no problem just like trailblazing over them and then just being like, why are you mad? Like,
oh, I know. You guys, before we went on this podcast, I had to tell Zach to be on his best behavior because he will fucking fuck with me because he's bored, and it's okay. Now that I know it's happening, it's easier. You did it last night, and I can't even remember what you were doing it on, but I'll know that it's happening because I can. So the conversation will lull, and then he's like, "What could I say?" And then you say something that you know that like would start a conversation, but also like get a little bit under my skin. But now I know what it is, and I like play along with it. So it's like a game now. It's a really fun, unhealthy.
I like ease into it at first. Like I'll like test the waters, and I'll be like, how, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed can I get her? And so I'll throw like a light, like an easy one, just to see if I get a little bit of a reaction. And then if I know I can push it a little further, then I'll like up the ante, and I'll bring in like something like political, or like, you know, just to, you know.
It'll be like, even if you don't believe it. Like,
yeah, even if I don't,
I'll just be sitting there and he'll be like, yeah, you know, I kind of agree with those Karens not wearing a mask. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He's just fucking starting this fucking bullshit convo.
That's what it was last night, because Newsom closed all the bars in California, and I was like, you know what, Katie, I think tonight I might just go to a bar.
Oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, you should.
And then you're like, yeah, you should, and I'm like, this game isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, isn't it changed a lot since the beginning of our year friendship? Now I know when you're being an absolute terror and menace.
Yeah.
Well, so far so good. Speaking of us talking on the phone, you have to retell me stories all the time because I am very Mark Thompson and I can't remember who I've watched a movie with or if I've ever heard a story before. But you told me a story that I need you to tell on the show. And you don't have to if you don't want to, but it was wildly entertaining and it was just really, really great.
Well,
so.
I'm going to tell it because it was one of the only like approved talking points that you allowed me to say on the show.
Okay, no, I just don't want you to bring up shit that you know I wouldn't want to talk about, and you do it, and I don't have to edit it out of the show, so don't even get me started on this. I'm not editing this out so everybody can see what you're like.
It's better when like she's dating guys and then she'll like FaceTime me with them in the room, and then I'll be like, oh, Katie, so is so-and-so there? Does that mean I can't say? And then you get mad, even though there was nothing I couldn't say. I just like wanted to like.
I could have killed you. I am dating this new guy that I like. He went poop, so I fucking FaceTimed Zach, and then he comes out, and I was like, oh, Zach, I have to go. Goodbye. And then Zach's like, oh, does that mean that I can't talk about X, Y, and Z? So then we get off the phone and the guy's like, that was weird. And I'm like, fucking swear to fucking God. And look at that smile. Look at your fucking smile. You're so fucking happy about it too.
Oh my God, I'm a great friend, you guys.
You are the worst. So now that's why I'm going to make you share this fucking embarrassing story about yourself.
But that's what would make me like a great reality star.
It's very true. You do live your life very Real Housewives, but it's going to make people think that they can't really trust you. So watch it.
Look, I'm out to make checks, not make friends.
Bitch. We have been friends now for a year. If you fuck me over.
It feels like a lot longer though. Not in a bad way. Oh my God, you're making me look so bad. But like, it feels like we've known each other for like years, but it's just because we talk so often that like.
No, it's true.
People are probably listening to this and they're like, wow, Katie has real issues because she has such an abusive person in her life that's like her friend that she talks to every day.
No, listen, I can be an absolute cunt. I do the same shit back to him. I'm just busting his chops. He's busted mine on every show I've ever been on with him. So this is me just busting it right back.
Yes. But so just to let everybody know that like my crazy isn't just with Katie. So I have another friend.
Oh, you have more. Like you're actually able to sustain friendships with the way you treat people? Oh my God, that's crazy. Continue.
Hey, let me finish my statement. I have another friend who probably isn't my friend anymore. But when we were friends, I mean, and to be fair, the reason we're not friends anymore is because it was her fault and not my fault. I'll just say that.
I'm sure that's how all of it is with you.
It is. I'm an angel.
It's never me. I'm perfect, and I always apologize, so it's fine.
Yeah, and my apologies. Like, I take so much time writing them in notes.
No,
and
your apologies are the most calculated thing. Like, anytime I get an apology from you, it's like, Katie, I am so sorry that I ever put you through the emotions that I put you through. I can't believe that. And I'm like, who wrote this? An English teacher?
I can't help it if I just have great grammar.
No, see, what it seems like when those apologies come through is like, why is he so good at these apologies? Does he have to apologize a lot? But that's also just me all the time being like, who's gonna hurt me and why?
Over analytical, yes.
Yeah, that's me. I overanalyze everything.
Now I know before I apologize to Katie, like, it can't be over a text message because she's gonna think that it's calculated. So I have to like mentally type it into notes in my head. Here's
an idea. Stop doing shit that you have to apologize for. Do not be a Ramona singer.
I'm not a Ramona.
A little. Just less of an awful Trump supporter, but isn't she? Is she a Trump supporter? I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love her, but I don't love Trump. So if you're going to vote for Trump, please don't. And if you're not registered to vote, please register to vote. And if you do like Trump, please stop listening to my podcast. I don't want your patronage. Thank you. Continue.
I'm glad I didn't wear my Make America Great Again shirt today.
He doesn't actually have one of those, you guys. That was just a joke. I just want you all to know that. Continue.
I don't. I might get one, like, to tape a video, but I don't actually have one.
Why? No, I don't like that video idea. Don't do it.
See, I know it gets under her skin.
Okay, the friend.
Back to my story.
Okay.
I had a friend who was like, you need to get out more. Because, like, I think people think that I'm, like, this big, like, extroverted, go out all the time, go to clubs and, like, all that stuff. And, like, I don't. So she's like, you need to go out. I'm going out with my friends. Come out with us. And so I was like, fine, okay, I'll go out with you and your friends. And so we met up at her place first. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and I'm like, am I going? Like, she's like, it's a bunch of gay guys. They're all single. Like, it's going to be fun. And so I'm like, okay, on the prowl.
Yeah.
And so I was really just looking to, like, take somebody home that night. And, like, she gave me her approval that she wasn't going to get mad if I slept with any of her friends. And even though she didn't say that necessarily, like, that's how I read it. So
even if that wasn't the case, that's what I made up in my head. So we're good.
Because she didn't say that I couldn't sleep with any of her friends. You know what I mean? So anyway, I get to her house. We're pre-gaming before we go out.
I pause?
Yes.
Please don't sleep with any of my friends or guys I've fucked. Thank you. Because there's
I would rather sleep with the guys that you fucked because I've seen your gay friends and I'm not into them.
So rude.
I mean,
continue before you dig your hole deeper.
I almost did, but I stopped myself.
I know, I saw it. I was like, I'm gonna cut him
off. Go. So I already had my eye on one guy. And I was like, okay, that's the one that I'm going for. And then, so we're getting into the Uber, getting ready to go. We went up to the Abbey that night. And so we're getting ready to go. And I turned to my friend and I'm just like, I like that guy. And she's like, oh, well, that's his boyfriend. And I was like, you told me they were all single. And she's like, well, this one's like a new relationship. And I was like, whatever. And so I get in the car and I'm trying to plot like how I'm going to steal him from his boyfriend.
Naturally.
And so we get to the Abbey and we're dancing, whatever. And so my first strategy is I'm going to make out with one of her other friends to like make him jealous.
Okay.
Even though he already had a boyfriend. And so I'm like making out with this other guy and dancing with him and then like bumping into everybody around us, like in our group of people so that they can see that like I'm making out with him and I'm a hot commodity at this club.
Got it.
Even though like I knew I wasn't interested in him from the get-go, but I was like, God, I sound like a terrible person. But like I was just trying to have a good time. And
Listen, if this is who you are deep down, this is just who you are, sweetie.
So I had a couple more drinks, and then I decided to approach the guy that I was into.
Mm-hmm.
And especially knowing that, like, I mean, relationship is a strong word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, like, married for it to be a relationship. And even then, married guys love me.
No, it doesn't. You don't have to be married to be in a If I'm in a relationship with a guy, I'm not thinking he's having sex with anyone.
As long as you define that it's exclusive.
Okay, yeah.
So
wait, if this guy's exclusive with him, you're still like, I still have a chance. I mean, there's some people out there who say, as long as there's no kids involved, I always have a chance.
I've never heard that. That's probably a philosophy my parents have adopted, because that's equally how they are. I mean, but the kids are involved and they don't give a shit. So
like
it's
if
like
somebody like wants to break up a marriage, like if there's kids involved, they're more like, but if there's not, they're like, it's fair fucking game.
I would never want to like break up somebody's marriage, but like I wouldn't be upset if I did, because it means they liked me better.
Sweetie,
you know?
You mean therapy? This is the type of shit he says where I'm like, so let me give you a number to a therapist.
And to be very clear, I've never broken up anybody's marriage or relationship. They've always turned me down.
Except for the time that you were having sex with that guy and he was like, we have to stop because my wife is home.
No, that one was in a hotel room, and he's like, you can't come back later because my wife will be here. And I was like, when did you have a wife? And he's like, oh, well, I only have sex with her because she wanted kids. And I was like, now there are children involved, and I was already naked in his hotel bed.
If you want to hear more on that, you should go and listen to our podcast, Disaster Daters, available on iTunes and everywhere else. Just thought I'd plug it. No big deal. Yeah. Continue.
NBD. So then I decide to go and approach the guy that I'm into. This is after I made out with the other guy. Yeah. And I go up to him and I was like, kiss me. And he's like, what? And I said, like, I felt bold. I said, kiss me. And he's like, I'm with somebody. And he's like, my boyfriend is like 10 feet away. And so I was like, oh, so do you want to go somewhere else? I was drunk and I was like 22, 24, 39. I'm
dead.
I don't know. And so I
need a joint for this.
So he's like, no, somebody I think diffused the situation and like broke us up so that I didn't do anything. And, you know, he didn't let his bad judgment, you know, get the best of him. But then later in the night, I was like, I think I went up to him and I basically tried to convince him to break up with his boyfriend. And I mean, to be fair, like he wasn't really that into him. Or actually, sorry, I didn't convince him until after we left the club. It was like 2 a.m. We got out of the Abbey. Everything was closed. And we were like walking to go get an Uber. And we were at the park by the Abbey. And then that's when I was like, so tell me about your boyfriend. And he said, like, I'm an interviewer. I know how to like get people to open up to me. And then I got him to like open up. Because like, think about it. When you're talking to somebody about their relationship, nobody's ever like, oh my God, they're amazing. It's always like,
no, they tell you all the bad shit.
Yeah, they tell you all the bad shit. Yeah. Which was easy for me because then that was ammunition as to why he should break up with his boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And so the night finished, and then my friend was like, okay, I'm going to have a pool party in a couple of weeks if you want to come out with us. And so I was like, yeah, I want to come out with you guys. And then I found out that it was like a couple of nights after that he broke up with his boyfriend. So that's not to say that I did that.
You may have planted a fucking seed.
I helped him find the light because he clearly wasn't in love. And like, who wants to be in a loveless relationship?
Right? Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be in a loveless relationship.
I
also don't want to be in a relationship with you.
That would be a fun time.
Can you imagine if you weren't gay and we tried to date?
No. We would not be compatible at all. I would have broken up with you like 2 months into it.
It's like, literally, I'm never going to have a boyfriend. Anyway, continue.
No, we're just not compatible. Could you imagine being in a relationship with me, how abusive that would be for you?
You need help. Anyway.
Anyway, so the pool party is coming up, and I'm like, now that I know that he's single, this is my chance. Like,
now,
I'm going in.
A question.
Yes.
Instead of just waiting for the pool party, why not like DM? Why not maybe get a phone number? Why not maybe try to like talk in between?
Actually, I think I did. Okay, so the pool party must not have been as soon because I did try again and I invited him and my friend onto my podcast.
Oh, okay.
And I made sure the topic was like about relationships and why we all suck at relationships. So like in order to like get deeper into the psyche of like why he doesn't have great relationships. And so like that was kind of like my attempt, but it didn't like he didn't seem to be taking the bait. So once I had definitely confirmed that he was single again, which was probably a couple weeks after, then it was time for the pool party. And I was like, this is my chance.
Yeah.
So I went to the mall. I found like the perfect outfit. I found the perfect trunks that like were short enough, but not too short because they didn't look thirsty, but they were like,
There's
the right
anything
little...
you are in this story, it's fucking thirsty.
Listen, it was summer. It was hot out. I was parched. And so I got a spray tan. Like I made sure I looked great. I didn't eat for 4 days. Like I did a workout that morning. Like I made sure I was set.
Seems unhealthy. Kids, don't try this at home.
I'm not telling anybody any of this. Any information you've heard from me in this podcast is not to be taken as advice. Like, please don't.
He is not a doctor.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like I could one day write like a lifestyle like guide and be like, I fucked up so much, like learn from me.
Yep.
Maybe after therapy.
There is. Maybe we get a therapist to work on that book too.
So then I get to the party. Well, first I went to Whole Foods and I bought like a great bottle of like organic tequila and like a big bag of almonds in case there wasn't anything I could eat at the party. And so I get to the party and I didn't eat anything the day before because I wanted to look real fit.
Okay.
Like my vibe was like look full, emaciated, and maybe he'll think it's hot.
Oh my God.
Which looking at who he dates now, that is not the look he's going for. I get to the...
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that after.
So I get to the party, and then I'm like getting ready to make my move. I'm like, everybody, let's do a shot. And so we take our first shot, and then somebody hands me a cocktail, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to move in and make my move, and he's over there by the pool, and I can't wait. Like, this is it. This is my chance. I got him a little buzzed. I'm a little buzzed. Like, everyone else is feeling a little buzzed. It's going to be a good vibe.
Yeah.
And then I find out he invited another guy to the party. And the other guy gets there, and they're like, oh, so-and-so, your man's here. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, he hasn't even been single that long. Like, how is he already in another fucking relationship?
What's the time span between him breaking up and the party?
I want to say the breakup was in May, and the party was, I want to say the party was what is that end of summer party? Is it Memorial? Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
It was a Labor Day pool party, and we went out, I want to say like in June.
Okay.
We went out, to the Abbey. It was like June. So it was like full maybe 8 weeks total.
Okay.
So to be fair, it was fun. But I had heard he was single through most of that time period that I didn't even know there was another guy.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to say that other guy is the guy that he's currently, no, I don't think so. He is a bigger slut than that. So I found out he had brought another guy to the party, and so I'm like, well, fuck it. Now I have to have more shots because now, like, I have no chance here. Like, I was so insecure about my body already, which I just naturally am, that, like, I wasn't going to go swimming in the pool party with all these, like, hot other people. And so I was like, well, fuck now. And so all I did was I just kept drinking, and I took more shots, and I had more cocktails. And again, I hadn't eaten anything at this point. So it turned very, very quickly.
This really is like an episode of The Real Housewives of like Los Angeles.
Yeah. The real millennials of LA. So then I'm like, okay, I'm really drunk. I need to like take a breather, and I should probably like get going soon. But I didn't want to go home because at that point I was living with my family, and I didn't want to show up at home like blackface, like blackout drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up going into the kitchen, and as I'm in the kitchen, I see him standing there alone.
Oh,
And so in my brain, I'm like, I have two options. I can either approach him and ask him why he doesn't love me, or
not it. Don't do it. Oh, wait, what was the other option?
Party and go.
Oh, just leave.
What?
The two options were go confront him or leave.
Or just leave the party because you don't know anybody here, or you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You're drunk. Like that's the logical thing to do.
Yes.
So naturally, I went to approach him, and so I go up to him, and I'm just like, I got a spray tan for you. And he's like, what? Who are you? And I'm like, I got an outfit. I look great. And he's like, you do look great. And I was like, yeah, and I looked great for you. And he's like, I'm sorry, did I do anything to lead you on? And I was like, well, no, but clearly I'm into you. And he's like, I've met you 2 other times in my life. Like, I didn't know you were into me. And I was like, oh my God, how could I have not made it any clearer? I convinced you to break up with your boyfriend. And he's like, oh, I thought you were just like being a good friend. And I'm like, I'm not a good friend. And so he's like trying to like, clearly I'm drunk, and he's trying to diffuse the situation. Yeah, I'm yelling at him. And I'm just like, look, I need to know. If this other guy that you brought to the party wasn't in the picture, would you have gone out with me? And he's like, well, you know, I'm like, no. Yes or no. I need you to pick an answer. Yes or no. It's easy. Would you have gone out with me, or would you not have? And he's like, Zach, you really do look great, and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, that's not the answer. That's not an option. This isn't right in your own multiple choice. You have 2 options, yes or no. Would you be into me? And he's just God. And he's just like, no. And I was like, wow, I can't believe you just said no like that, even though he tried to explain why he was going to say no, but I wouldn't let him because I just wanted a yes or no.
Oh,
and then I was upset that he just said no. And then I was like, we need to dissect this further. And so I dragged him over to the couch, and we sat down, and I'm just like, why? Like, what is it about me? Like, is it that you don't find me attractive? I'm like, what is it? And he's just like, it's more of like a cultural thing. Like, I'm trying to stay within my own, you know, like ethnic, because my family would be like, you know, they want me to date somebody that he was Armenian. I can say that.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And he's like, so you know, they would want me to date somebody else that's Armenian, and I'm already gay. So like, they already hate that. So like, I have to like also kind of like bring somebody that's Armenian to make them like feel better.
Got it.
And I was like, I can look Armenian. And he was just like, Zach, no. And I'm just like, why don't you love me? And then luckily somebody else like saw what was going on, and they came in, and they're just like, hey, so-and-so, they want you outside.
Oh my God.
And so they saved him from me. And like, I didn't know anybody other than my friend and him at this party. So I probably looked like this crazy drunk guy that crashed this party to win over homeboy. And then you would think that that would be a great opportunity for me to then exit the party, but I did not. I then went into my friend's bedroom, and I ate a bunch of almonds, and I tried to sleep, and I slept I took like maybe a 30-minute nap, and then I woke up, and I was still pretty drunk, and then I decided to rejoin the party. And at that point, everybody was like,
oh, staying away from him.
And I was like, who wants to take shots? It was a really awkward, mortifying experience that he and I look back on and laugh at now, even though now he's in a very happily committed relationship with like a dad.
Speaking of happily committed relationships, how has quarantine dating life been for you?
The absolute worst. Worse than dating in real life, and I blame you for it, Katie Thompson.
It's not my fault that I told you that you needed to try something more because so Zach, his tendencies are to go out with a guy, bring him home, have fun with him, and then that's it. But my whole thing is like, maybe if you waited and then tried to like get to know one of these guys better, you would form a real connection, and then like you could have a relationship or something. And then I also made the mistake of saying to him he had never been in a relationship before, and then that resonated in his head. And like, there's nothing wrong with you being 27. You're 27, right? And having not been in a relationship. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I was just saying, what if you gave it a chance? Because you couldn't have sex with this guy because of quarantine, because it was at the beginning when stuff was really intense. So I urged you to just, give it a try. That's all. It's not my fault.
So there were actually a total of 4 guys that I was talking to in quarantine. And one of them I wasn't really interested in. I just continued to date him because I had to. The other one,
you had to?
Fair, I was doing the dating show, and we had to keep dating until the. And then so he wasn't a real option, but I was talking to him throughout quarantine. And then there was another guy that I met on Hinge that I actually I liked him. I wasn't wildly into him, but I liked him, and we would have great conversations. Mm-hmm. And I could have seen something potentially short-term happening. And then there was Bumble Guy, and Bumble Guy is the one that I really liked because, I don't know, it just seemed like the spark was just there instantly. Because Hinge Guy, eventually kind of fell off. And then so Bumble Guy came in right at the end of that. And the spark was so instant. And we just had great conversations. And it seemed so promising. And so Katie was you need to really lean into this. You seem to really like this guy.
Well, because I had never seen you saying I've got butterflies. I'm thinking about him all the time. I had never seen you like this. So I'm well, if you're really liking this guy, you really need to lean into it.
And to be fair, we talked all day, every day. And then, as the weeks went on, eventually during one of our Zoom dates, because we didn't actually meet up in person, I would have wanted to, but he, obviously wanted to not break any of the rules, which I don't think anybody should break any of the rules, but I'm just a rebel and just a reckless rebel. At
some point you got to break those rules for some dick.
So I eventually, on one of the Zoom dates, is when he told me that he deleted all of his dating apps, and that was the moment where I was holy shit, is this actually going somewhere? And then I told Katie, and I was Katie, I think this is a great opportunity for me to do a virtual speed dating and start talking to other guys. And Katie's no, he deleted all of his apps. He's clearly into you. You need to lean into this and go all the way. And
because you kept trying to pull out.
Right, which is the best way to not have a baby. And so I was I was a little apprehensive because we hadn't actually met in person at that point. So for me to hear that he had deleted all of his dating apps, and yet he, was still talking to me, I was but we haven't actually met. We haven't had sex. It's just been all these weeks of us getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So then I was okay, I'm actually going to listen to my dear friend Katie's advice and really lean into this.
For the first time ever, he decided to give my advice a listen.
Mm-hmm. So I did, and it was really going somewhere. And I was well, you deleted all your apps. Does this mean this is going somewhere? And he's yeah, I think this is really going somewhere. And we were both on the same page. And so it was okay, I'm actually probably going to come out of quarantine with a relationship.
Yeah.
Then I had a really bad weekend, really bad.
May I pause you? To be fair, we both thought we were coming out of quarantine with relationships. Yes. But as it turns out, we both just might not.
We shall see.
Continue.
The night is young. So I had a really, really bad night where I needed somebody. And at this point, what had happened, it was so late into the night. It was after, it was 1 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Katie was already asleep. Everybody was asleep. And it's moments like that where you want a person that you can go to. And even though it's nice to have your friends, you want to know that the person that you're dating is the person you can go to be that emotional anchor for you.
Right.
And so this was the test of that for me, where I was having a really going through a really traumatic experience, and I decided to call him to see if he could help me through it, or just kind of be there for me. And 5 minutes into the phone call, he's just look, I just had a really bad day. I realized I thought I was getting this job, and I got turned down for the job, and it's just a really bad day for me. So I just can't deal with any of your stuff right now. I just can't take on any of your stuff.
And that's because there's always a time in like a relationship or when you're dating somebody where you put it to the test to see if like they can really give you the stuff that you're looking for. And when you've invested so much emotion and time into this person and you realize that they can't meet you at the place where you need to be met, it is so disappointing and it hurts so bad. So like I feel for you because that shit sucks because I have bad anxiety. So half the time they can't meet me where I need to be met. So I very much understand. And especially when you're feeling like how you were, like when you're in, like you're out of the zone, like you're so past it and you just want somebody and he just failed on that. And I'm sure when you're already feeling like that, then to hear somebody say that to you, it was just like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And you were just
it was like it was a moment where like, and Katie knows, like I wasn't in my right mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
It was also late at night and I had been drinking. So it was like a combination of really bad things where it's a moment where you need somebody. It's that moment where you've gone beyond the point where you can help yourself through it.
You need like a slap.
Yeah, to check you and be like, calm down.
But that wasn't the right slap.
It's fine. Yeah. And like, you know, and so for him to say like, sorry, like I can't deal with this tonight because I found out I didn't get the job that I wanted, that to me was like, ugh. And so.
And to be fair though, maybe him not getting the job put him in a place where he was feeling somewhat similar to maybe how you were feeling, but it's still important that you can both meet in the middle.
I wouldn't say the situations were equal. Like,
no, I know that like, you know, everyone's emotions are different, but for some reason, you know what I mean?
I understand how it was very heavy for him because we're in quarantine and emotions are heightened and anxieties are heightened. And so I can understand. And like for him, not getting that job wasn't just not getting a job. For him, it was like a symbol of like the future and what's the future going to hold and how am I going to pay my rent? And am I going to have to move back home? Like I understood that there were a lot more anxieties going on. Yeah. But like, I felt like for me, my situation was very real and happening in that moment. And it wasn't something that I could take myself out of or like feel safe in that moment. But like, it was like I guess I would like to think that if the roles were reversed, I would be able to like put my shitty day aside to help somebody that's going through a really heightened experience in that moment. But I mean, you do that for me. Like I got so upset about something last night and it was ridiculous, but you were so nice. Even though the reason I was upset was ridiculous, you were still respectful of the fact that I was really upset about it, even though it was dumb. So yeah, you can definitely do, but not, and I'm not saying that what you were feeling was dumb. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not even. No,
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying, which is nice that all your listeners can hear that, like, I'm not actually a terrible friend. I have good moments.
No, I was just busting your balls earlier. I love you dearly.
But so after
Say it back.
You're a good friend. Is that?
No, tell me you love me. You've never said it. You only say it when you're drunk.
I have to check my Katie approved script. Oh, that's right.
My God. No, never mind. I don't want to hear it. I fucking hate you. Continue with your dumb story. No, I'm just kidding.
So after that phone call, I was like, okay, like I felt really shitty. And then I like went crazy on Instagram stories. But then the next day, next morning, he ends up texting me and he's like, hey, hope you're having a better day. Even though it was like a situation where it's like, it's not just like, you just wake up and like, I'm having a better day today. Like,
I'm cured. Thanks.
Like obviously the next day was like the processing day, especially because like I didn't end up sleeping that night. Yeah. And so he texted me and he's like, hey, I hope you're having a better day. And I was like, thanks, hope you are too. Didn't hear from him. The weekend goes through. Then come like Sunday night, I was like, hey, I reached out to him and I was like, you know, obviously I felt like I was taken away from his experience that night and him having a bad day. So I wanted to check on him and be like, hey, just wanted to make sure, you know, you're okay. I know you had a long week and it was like rough, just checking in on you. No response again. So then Monday comes around and it's Monday afternoon at this point. And then I'm like, you know what? like, you really can't respond. Like, after everything that happened, I get it, you had a rough week, but like, after everything that I went through, like, you can't just be here for me right now, like, even a little bit. You're just gonna ignore me all weekend and not respond to any of my messages. And then I just wrote like a really nice message, basically saying like, look, I know last week was really heavy. I'm not sure if it was just a busy week or a busy weekend, or you needed to take some time for yourself to process everything and not getting your job. I can only imagine how disappointing that is and how much anxiety that it has for your future. I was like, but you know, I haven't heard from you and I'm hoping that I do, but if I don't, I just want you to know that like the time that we spent together in quarantine, like, meant a lot to me. And it opened up something in me that hasn't been opened up in a long time. So I just want to let you know that I'm grateful for that. And if I don't hear from you again, I just want to say thank you for the time that we did get to spend together.
Yeah.
And then maybe an hour later, he responds, he's like, haha, no, it was just a long week and I needed some time away. And then he's like, I just realized I'm not in the place to be able to like be there for other people emotionally. And like, that was kind of it. And so I was like, ouch, well then that like really kind of hurts and sucks. And so that was like his way of kind of like breaking things off.
But you have to understand that like sometimes people are actually not in a place to mentally handle it, and it really doesn't have anything to do with like you and how great you are, how hot you are, how much he may have wanted to fuck you or whatever. Like, he may just be like, I'm just so fucking anxiety ridden and I have no idea what's going on in my life, and it really doesn't have anything to do with you. That whole like, it's not me or it's not you, it's me thing, there is truth to it sometimes.
No, and I get that now, because like obviously in that time, that whole like 2-week, you know, experience, or the 2 weeks that followed that one night that I had, like, it took me a while to switch back into like rational thinking and like properly processing emotions. Like, I was just like really unbalanced for a while. That it took a while for me to kind of get my head set on straight. And then eventually I did reach back out to him again. Or actually, there was something on one of my podcasts that talked about like leaving quarantine and going back into the real world as businesses open up again, and anxieties that people have with finding jobs or making money. And we did an episode on it. And so there was a clip that I thought would have been really helpful to him. And so I sent him the clip, and I'm just like, this is from the show. I just thought, you know, it's a message that you could really hear considering everything that was going on a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And then it was like, oh yeah, that is a really great clip and it's very applicable. And then he's like, how are you? I was just like, I'm good. And then I was like, well, since you like asked how I am and you were like opening up the dialogue again, like, I want to know like where this is. Like, what is this? Like, is there an opportunity for us to explore something, or is this completely shut down? And then it basically got to the point where he's just like, I'm looking for friends. Like, right now, I just realized I can only take on friends right now. And then
then you should change your Bumble to the fucking friend version, not the dating version. Thanks. I don't swipe on fucking Bumble to find friends. I have enough of them. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll dive more into that whole, because I have a rant about that too. But like, for me, I then responded and I was like, cool, I get it. I don't want friends right now. I think my only two objectives are I'm looking to date somebody to get into a relationship with, or I'm looking for somebody that I can have a no strings attached relationship with, and we can just like have
at least have sex with me.
Exactly. That was the thing too. It was like, you know, and then it kind of became a point where I realized that like his words and his actions, like the words that he was saying to me were the things I wanted to hear, but his actions didn't necessarily reflect that same strong interest in me. Yeah. And he would always tell me, he's like, well, I wouldn't be talking to you if I wasn't really interested in you. And I wouldn't be continuing this on with you if I didn't genuinely like you and want to pursue something with you. And it just was like, it was such a mind fuck for me. Yeah. I'm like, but everything you're telling me and everything you're doing, like, aren't adding up. Like, and for me, I get that he wasn't in the place emotionally to invest in a relationship. But for me, the way I see it is, it's like, I feel like those moments where you feel emotionally unable to like be there for somebody else, the whole point of being in a relationship is because you can lean on the other person, because if you can't be there for them, they can at least be there for you. And I felt like he was cutting it off to where not only was he not being there for me emotionally, but he wasn't allowing me to be there for him emotionally when he really needed it. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, well, then this just tells me that this isn't compatible. As much as I really liked it and thought it was going to go somewhere, it's just not. You know what I mean?
And you blame it all on me.
Because you're the one that was like, well, he's great and he's interested in you. And you told me I was going to break his heart. And well,
because you're usually the heartbreaker. But look, think about how much you've learned. Think about how much you learned about yourself, what you want out of a relationship, what you don't want. Like, you learned so much just from that experience instead of just going out with him, getting drunk, and fucking him. Which, that's a fine system too, but that's a system that protects your heart. And the risk that you take with putting yourself out there is that you get your fucking heart busted. So, you know, but you also grow so much with each experience. Like, even if you don't end up with him, it's a good, like, learning or life lesson.
No, it really was. And that's why I sent him that text message, like, thanking him for all of it. I'm like, thank you. And I'm grateful for the experience. Because, I forgot, like,
that's true.
Yeah, because, like, I get it. And, like, you know, I don't, and at the end of the day, like, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that can't show up for me when I really need them.
Yeah, no, we don't have got time for that.
Because it's not just like, because it's not like I was just like, oh, I'm having a bad day, or, you know, I got in a fight with my mom, or, I got in a car accident. Like, it was a moment where, like, you need somebody to be there for you, even if it's, like, to not do anything other than to just be there and, like, let you, like, sob. No,
it's
and
okay. Be crazy. Right.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I started
so dating in quarantine is terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started dating somebody. We went on a date before quarantine happened. Like, it was literally like days before we were iffy about going to the bar. Like, it was the day that the grocery stores were emptied. Like, that everybody went and bought. It was a few days after toilet paper. And then this was the time where, like, food was gone, and it was really scary. And that's when we went out, and then we talked, and talked. And then once it was less like, you know, you're going to die, we were like, all right, well, we've been in quarantine. We haven't been anywhere. We haven't seen anybody. It's probably safe if we see each other. So we started seeing each other. It was fucking great. Like, just, like, totally different than all the others. Like, wanted to, like, cuddle and stay after. Like, wasn't in a rush to go anywhere. Like, you know, after a while of it, I was like, so, like, what are you looking for? Like, do you want, like, is this just sex to you? And he was like, no, you mean so much more to me than just sex. And I was like, this is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And one time I was laying naked, and he was like, Rose wishes that she looked like you from Titanic. I was like, give me a compliment about Titanic? I mean, I'm married to this boy. Say to you, so sweet.
So sweet.
Like, and like, Zach knows that I have been treated like a piece of paper on the floor that gets crumpled up and just tossed in the garbage with no thought. So I was like, this is like, he opens doors. Like, he'll be like, ladies first. If we're walking on the street, he makes sure that I'm on the inside. Like, the gentleman shit, it's just insane. So, and then, you know, eventually he was like, yeah, I am looking for a relationship. And I was like, after quarantine is over, because we didn't know that it was going to last, you know, as long as it's lasted. I was like, are you planning on dating other people? And he was like, no, I don't think I'm going to date anybody else after quarantine. So in my dumb head, for some reason, I don't know why, I assumed that, like, okay, this could really, like, be something, and the brick walls that I have really built with so much cement, I'm gonna call somebody, and I'm gonna take these walls down. I'm gonna take them down. I'm gonna start to fall for them. I'm gonna take them down. And then also, like, meanwhile, New York boy is noticing that I'm, like, MIA, and he's just like, hello. And I'm like, what? Everybody was right. If I just ignored him, he would, like, come to me. But also,
all I kept telling you,
it's now when I don't want him. Like, now that I'm like, I'm good. Like, he's like, oh, hey. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to date this other fool right now.
See, had you just listened to me before.
Yeah, but now I don't
The
really
way I listened to you with Bumble Guy.
I know. So, and I mean, I was even asking Zach this whole time, like, am I crazy to think that, like, maybe this could be something? But, like, based on, like, all the stuff he was saying and how much time we were spending together, I was like, all signs lead to boyfriend, girlfriend. And then we started kind of, like, bickering some, like, little arguments here and there. And then he was like, I think I need space. I was like, what? You need space? From what?
From
And
what?
like,
I'm amazing.
and like, I get it. I'm a lot. Like, I'm very high energy, but at a certain point, like, he made me feel so much like I could be myself that I really just was my complete self. Like, anytime I had anxiety, I would tell him, or like anytime, just like I have a lot of thoughts that go through my head and I just say them all out loud. So I'm sure it can be unpleasant. I very much understand. So he was just like, I need space and blah, 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 blah. And like, we took some space and then we hung out and then we fought again. So then we took some more space and we took like 7 days. But then we were talking. And so he was hugging me because I was upset that we were fighting or whatever. And I was looking at him in the mirror, but he didn't know that I could see him, right? And I was like, all right, I'm going to test something. I'm going to say the G word. I'm going to say girlfriend and see what happens. Like, not that I'm saying I am his girlfriend, but I'm just going to like test these waters because I'm not sure that he is really, at this point I was like, I'm not sure he's really fucking into me, which is fine. Just let me know. That is so fine if you don't like me. I don't have a fucking problem.
Drag it out.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. But like, I still like you. I still want to see where this goes. I would still like to be your girlfriend. So I said these things. And I was looking at him in the mirror when I said it. And when I said the word girlfriend, he was like, that was the face he made. And I was like, oh, no. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. And I needed to head to fucking Lowe's immediately and get bricks and cement and just start lathering that shit on top of each other. So I like asked, like, we were just like talking and stuff, and he was like, listen, I really, really like you. Like that, like, that's why, like, you know, I still want to spend time with you. Like, I really enjoy your company and stuff. But hey, if it doesn't work out, we can still be friends.
No.
You gonna cuddle me in bed right now and tell me everything's okay and that you really care about me and like me, but then just very casually throw out, but we could just be friends if it doesn't work out. I'm sorry. Your penis has been inside my mouth. We cannot be friends. What? Like, why do these guys think like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not into it, so I'll just be their friend. I don't want your fucking friendship.
No, like, if I'm gonna date you, then I want to date you because we're gonna date, not because we're gonna be friends at the end of it. Like, I have enough friends. Like, I enjoy all 3 of them. Like, I'm good.
Like, exactly. I have you, I have the lamp I talk to, and I'm good. That's all I really need. I don't need more friends. And so I was talking to my friend John, who was on this podcast, and he's a wise man. And he was like, you want it too bad. You want a boyfriend. And I was like, I mean, it's not that I just want any boyfriend. He's like, no, I know that, like, you like the guys that you date, but you want it too bad. So I did a little reflecting.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm only going to concentrate on me now because I feel like when I go into relationships, I put them first. I'm like, your feelings first, your work first, your whatever first, which is not what I should be doing. We should both be doing our own shit and then meet in the middle. So I'm now only going to care about me. I've decided whatever happens with him will happen, because his other thing was like, you know, what if our lives don't mesh together when we get back out into the real world? Like, he's like, you work a lot, you know, I work at night. When are we going to see each other? I'm like, well, we'll work it out. If you like somebody enough, you work it out. So it just seemed like he was already like pushing back, but it was after he had said, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm not going to date anybody after quarantine. So was I insane to think that I had a chance at becoming this fucking guy's girlfriend?
No.
Please tell me if I'm, because
that's the thing. That's the thing. And then the guys are just like, well, you're just crazy. It's like, crazy? You're the one that like created this scenario by like saying, hey, I want to date somebody to be in a relationship. And then it's like, oh, here we go. Relationships arrive.
Exactly. Like, I'm here.
Wait, sorry, I don't think I ordered this. And it's like, yeah, you did. You ordered it on July 1st. And it's here now.
And you cuddled it, and you enjoyed it, and you made it feel special. And now you're like, oh, oopsie, I don't know. Which, no, it's fine if you don't like me, but this whole like, let's take space, and then like, let's like blah, 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 blah. I don't know. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening will just be like, Katie, move on, whatever. But what y'all don't understand is that this is the first time in a long fucking time that I have been treated like a goddamn lady. So there's a part of me that's like, the cons don't go over the pros yet. So I'm like, I'm not ready to like whatever. But if he's going to continue to be wishy-washy and like, because ever since the last time where we took space, we took 7 days apart and then we hung out again. And instead of me saying like, hey, like, are we still interested in the same thing? I picked the rug up and I just threw everything underneath it and pretended like everything was fine. But then that was when I decided, you know what though? It is fine. I don't need to give this guy an ultimatum of, do you want a girlfriend? Do you like me? Because he can say anything he wants to me to continue to sleep with me or continue to keep me around. What he needs to do is show me, because actions speak louder than words. So that's when I realized maybe I don't need to have a conversation with him. Maybe I just need to really see how he's going to act towards me. But I really wish this fucking pandemic would end so that we could go out into the real world and see if we would be compatible. Because I feel like quarantine is, I'm not myself. I can't go to my jobs and have conversations. I can't do stuff normally. I'm afraid I'm going to die all the time, or that I'm going to give somebody something else. So I'm not myself. And I'm sure it's not making me myself in a relationship and dating somebody. And I'm sure it's the same for him. So that's where I wish that, like, I wonder if the quarantine didn't happen and we had dated regularly, would we have had a better chance? But if this shit could go on for, I don't even know how long.
Yeah, like, we don't know what real life is going to look like once we get back out into the world. And like, and you kind of just have to date now. And like, I don't know. It's a weird time to be building relationships.
That's why I've decided, because it honestly, it feels like a dating game where it's like, because all we can do is go to a park, go to each other's houses, or that's it. That's the only things that we can do. Like, so it's just like, we're constantly inside. We're constantly just like watching movies. I'm in PJ. Like, we've gotten to the point where like, we tell each other when we have to poop. We've been seeing each other for so little time, but it's like, here we are in our 2.5 year relationship because we're just stuck inside.
Yeah. And you're forced to like be with each other. So it moves things along so much faster.
Especially when you have nothing but 4 days to lay in bed and watch, you know, whatever, and like really just like cuddle up and snuggle up. And that's what really like melted my heart into thinking like, you know, like, but I was also, John said like, you know, cause I've been talking to this guy for like 3-4 months at this point. So John was like, you know, after it's like the 3-month mark, they kind of get stale and they're done. I'm like, well, what the fuck? He's like, I don't know. It's just a thing. And I'm like, well, it needs to not be a thing. Cause now if this is done, I'm going to put fucking chains around my heart. But like, my dad also said, he's like, the second that you are doing you and you're so busy that you can hardly keep your head on straight, that's when they're going to walk in. That's when you're going to have to make time for them. I'm so sick of that fucking answer, though.
I know, me too, because it's like, well, how can I do me if I don't have you? But no, it's like,
oh,
yeah.
that's so sweet. Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
like, it's true though. I feel like we're both similar in the sense that like there's a potential, well, me recently, when there's a potential, like I just jumped into it, and I think that was my issue with like Bumble guys. Like I leaned in a little too strong.
I think I need to take some steps back when I start dating. Like, don't imagine myself walking down the aisle after the second drink.
Well, I think you need to take the advice that I gave you, and that's that even when you're seeing somebody, as if it's not exclusive, then you should continue to go on dates with other people. That way you're staying distracted.
But here's the difference. One, we're in quarantine. I don't trust anybody.
No,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, you can do, like tonight I'm doing speed dating again. Like, you can do the other things.
We had the conversation of like he didn't want to see anybody after quarantine, so I figured like in a way we're just seeing each other, but of course I think I read too much into it or something, even though that's what I was being told. I don't know.
We have to start dating like that.
It's I don't want to date like a guy.
And just be like a little more selfish and be a little more focused on you.
That's what I've decided to do. Like, I'm just done, like, putting everything I have into it. I'm going to put everything I have into me. Because you know who matters most? I fucking do. Not these fuckboys who fucking just don't understand the special people that they have in front of them. We're not just holes. We're fucking human beings. Like, Jesus.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
Oh, okay. On a less intense, desperate date me note, I have, my God, have we been doing a podcast for 2 hours?
Probably.
Jesus. Oh, the listeners will be happy.
You can break it up into 2 episodes, 2 parts, part 1 and part 2.
That would be adorable, but we'll see how long it is. I don't know. All right, so I was looking up like all of the Real Housewives songs. Zack has 2 podcasts, #NoFilter and Adulting.
Yes.
Yes, I did it. And on one of them, he talks about adult stuff, and on the other one, he talks about like Bravo and the gossip and whatever. And y'all all know that I am a fucking slut for anything Bravo, so we both bond on that. Yeah, absolutely. And we were on the panel for Vanderpump Rules. May Vanderpump Rules as it was rest in peace, because that is it's a lot. I don't know that I can get into it, but the Real Housewives, let me Google this again, because I bought some art while I was waiting for the podcast. I've been buying some art because I've been cleaning some stuff and I want to decorate the walls. I've been buying a lot of marijuana art.
Look at you, just a cultured bitch.
Just an 18-year-old, you know? All right, while I was looking up all of the songs to ask you what your favorite Real Housewives song is. You watched Real Housewives of New York, right?
Yes.
Did you know that Simon Van Kempen has a song?
What?
It's called I Am Real, and it is the best thing that's going to happen to you all of 2020. Are you ready?
Okay.
Not only is it a song, it's a song about how the housewives have treated him.
No.
I Am Real, ladies and gentlemen, by Simon Van Kempen.
Well, I don't think you can't play it on your show.
Why?
Because this happened to me on No Filter, where Apple pulled my show because I played music on it that was copyrighted.
All the time.
Oh, well then maybe they'll let you do it.
We're celebrities.
You know I do my best, I dress up to impress, but she's causing me stress. Again, a cocktail dress. I am real, I ain't gonna change. I am real, I am who I am, and that's the deal. I say what I feel, you love me or hate me, I don't give a damn. Golden diamonds glitter.
Oh my God.
The taste is slightly bitter.
Of the glitter?
When wives attack behind my back, they trash me on their Twitter.
That's my favorite line. All right, you get the idea.
He's real. Like
my
you.
Fuck you. My favorite line, that's another argument Zach and I had. My favorite line in the song is they trash me on their Twitter. The girls, they talk behind my back.
What season was this done in? Well, they were only on for the first, 4 seasons?
Yeah, but they're just, because I have spent a lot of quarantine re-watching The Real Housewives of New York because I love New York because it started so early. So it has that real classic, like old Real Housewives feel that I love. And just the Van Kempens are just a great watch in themselves. Like, it's quite a time. So wait, you got flagged on iTunes for playing it?
For playing music, yes.
Shit. But I've done it like, well, I only play snippets. Like, I'll probably cut a lot of that.
Well, the thing is, I only played snippets too, and I did it for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, my show was just gone from iTunes. And I had to redo the entire thing. So I lost all my reviews, like everything. And I had to start over again.
So should I edit that entire song out and maybe just keep a few lines of it?
Maybe I would say
the
maybe
Twitter part that I liked?
Yeah, maybe just keep a few lines. You can keep the parts where we talk over it because I think that should be fine.
Got it. Well,
but
yikes.
I just know, because like the thing is, I would have these artists come on my show and I would play their music. And then like I thought it was fine because the artist was on the show and I was playing their music, but Apple flagged it for copyright infringement and then took my show down. And they don't warn you and they don't give you infractions. Like, they just take you off.
You know, I understand why that happens, but it is unfortunate because there's a part of me that like, I grew up with my dad on the radio, which was like talking and then playing a song, or like having an artist come in and playing the song on the radio, or like all of that. So it's like, I want to incorporate that into my podcast, but I can't. Like, how would I be able to do a top 10 songs and play snippets of each song? Like, that should be allowed, right? I don't know. I hope I didn't step on any toes with what I said. However, out of like the Real Housewives franchise songs, what is your favorite? And do you need me to read you off some?
Read me off some.
Don't Be Tardy for the Party, Chic, C'est La Vie, Luann, where was the list I was looking at before? Oh, Erica Jane. We've got Kenya Moore, Gone with the Wind, Fabulous. Gone with the Wind, Fabulous.
Fabulous.
We've got a lot of
You're
Candy.
Ugly. I'm fabulous. You're pretty. I'm fabulous.
And then there's How Many Fucks by Erica Jane, which is one of my favorites. How many fucks do I give? Feeling Giovanni.
None, not one. Feeling Giovanni would not be at the top of my list.
Feeling Giovanni. It's the fucking horns in that song that get me.
What's the first song Luann did? Money Can't Buy You.
Money Can't Buy You.
Every time she sings that, I just picture her at Macy's throwing dollar signs out. Have you seen that?
You have to start somewhere. Because when I was on the radio, I did some really strange appearances at places, and I was just like, oh, fuck. At malls. I've been at a mall with a mic, fucking talking about something, but they paid me $500 to be there.
I hear you.
You know how it is. Mine is absolutely don't be tardy for the party. Oh, don't be tardy for the party. Oh, oh. Hurry up, baby, don't be late. I'll meet you at the place.
I don't know if this counts.
Wait, now I can't hear anything. Oh, I'm good now. It was my headphones.
Oh. I don't think this counts, but I would have to say one of my favorites is Jam by Kim Kardashian.
Hey, that's, I mean, it's in the
not
same...
a housewife song, but it's a great reality TV. Or I'm Hot by Angelina from Jersey Shore. I'm hot, so hot, like an ice cream cone with a cherry on top. I'm hot.
What is that song that you would always play for me?
Oh, I'm a little bit Alexis. I'm a little bit tipsy when I drive my car. No. I'm a little bit single, even
it's the one about vaginas.
Oh, my puss is so fantastic. Yo
puss smelly burnt plastic. There's all these songs that so there was this one song that he sang forever, and then I heard it, and I was like, no, it was a saying you said. It was a saying you said, and then I finally heard what it was, and I was like, that's what you've been singing this whole time?
It was the Pink song, Slut Like You. I'm not a slut, I just love love.
Yeah, and you would always quote that, and I was like, what is this? And you're like, it's a Pink song, and then you would play it.
And it's a very bizarre Pink song. It's like, you male, come now. You caveman, sit down.
It was that. You would always sing that. And I was like, what are you singing? And then I heard what it actually sounded like, and it didn't sound anything like what you were singing. And I was like, what the fuck? Yes.
It's called Slut Like You by Pink. But if I could pick my favorite housewife song, it would be Money Can't Buy You Class. How Many Fucks Do I Give? I guess then Feeling Giovanni.
Mine would be...
Oh, no. What's the one that James... Oh, I guess that's not Housewives. I was going to say James Kennedy and Lala.
Oh, and but that's Bravo.
And then there was Like a Boss by Lala and Sheena. Like a boss. Like get big checks like a boss. Do big dicks like a boss.
When I put my phone on shuffle, Jam by Kim Kardashian comes on all the time. Don't Be Tardy comes on. All of James Kennedy songs come on. So it's a jam. Turn it up, turn it up. I don't know who said, and I remember when that happened on the show. She's like, I'm not saying I can sing, I just want to do a song. Okay, well then maybe.
Because Kanye told her to do a song. This was before they were dating, because he was like trying to get in her pants. See, that would be something that I would do. I would be Kanye West, and I would be like, I think you should do this. And it's not because I thought they were actually good at it, but it was because I wanted to get closer to them. So I would make them look stupid. That way I could just like get closer to them.
Oh my God. Mine would be Don't Be Tardy. How Many Fucks Do I Give? And the Melissa Gorga one that I always have stuck in my head.
Oh, Melissa Gorga. On display.
Each and every day.
That would be my number 3. I would prefer On Display over Feelin' Giovanni.
But
I just love
those horns in Feelin' Giovanni.
I just love Teresa singing. I mean, I also like Chic, C'est La Vie, Simon, Simon. I love Teresa singing it at the reunion where she's like, on display, sing it for me. Sing it right now, sing, show everybody you can sing. And she's like, you want me to sing right now? And she's like, yeah, sing right now. And then she sings like a little verse of something. And she's like, sing the whole song. And she's like, you want me to sing the whole song? And Teresa's like, yeah, sing the whole song. It was great. It was so good. And then Teresa's like, and you're talking about paparazzi following you. The people on Twitter say it's about me.
What do you think's your favorite Housewives opener line?
Oof, I don't know, because they just came out with the new ones from New York. They released the new ones today, which I thought was stupid.
What are they? Are they any good?
They're all terrible.
Oh.
Dorinda's is like a mint in my mouth. I'm a bit fresh. And then Sonia's is I'm nobody's army. I'm nobody's eye candy. I'm the whole bowl of sugar.
Oh God.
And then Leah's was I'll say sorry, but never for who I am. Yeah, they're really bad. And then Luann's was something about like, it's my time to shine, but you won't catch me in the lower level.
What?
They're bad. Ramona's was like, it was still bad. It was like something about like, people say I'm self-interested, but who else am I supposed to be interested in?
I think maybe they are afraid to be edgy now, so they like PG'd them up because of everything that happened.
I loved Leah's line this season where she's like, I flow like a butterfly, but I sting like a bitch. Yeah. I think, I hate that I'm gonna, well, okay. So I think one of my favorites is Bethany when she returned to Housewives and she's like, I'm not a housewife, but I am real. I thought that was a good one.
Love it.
I hate Lisa Vanderpump, but I loved some of hers. Mm-hmm. Like, stab me in the back, but whilst you're there, kiss my
ass. One of my favorite ones, it has to do with the ass as well. It's Carol's. I think it was from season 2 or 3 where she's like, if you're going to talk about me behind my back, at least check out my great ass. And I was like, I fucking love it.
I love it, but I also don't think she has a great ass.
She does.
Does she?
They show it in a bathing suit. She's got a great body.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite tagline. What would be your Housewives tagline? I think I've asked you this before, but we'll do it again. I can't stop touching my hair because I did it and I feel like Rapunzel. Or like Ariel and I need like a fork to, I'm going to mess it up. I'll stop. Just some dead air.
Because I have to think about it, because there were, I would say maybe, like, I may look a little fake, but I'm 100% real.
Ooh, I love it.
Even though you think that I'm not real.
It's not that, just sometimes you come at things with a lot of thought, which sometimes makes it seem less real. That's a better way of saying it than the first time I said it.
Yeah, it is.
I was a little rude the first time. I said sorry. What would mine be? Something about being a redhead, something about sucking dick. I don't suck at a lot, but I do suck a really good dick.
Oh my gosh, Thompson.
No, that wouldn't be it. I mean, what I would really like to be is if you don't have 10 dicks in your mouth, you're not doing it.
No, yours should be, my hair is red and I give great head.
I love it. Even though, disclaimer, I've never claimed to give good head. People get mad when when I say things. So I just needed to make that disclaimer.
I feel like it's harder for a girl to give good head than it is for a gay guy, because gay guys have dicks.
It's like me eating out a girl, like, versus a guy eating a girl out. Yeah. I know what they want. So, like, it's a lot easier for me to make girls come than it is guys, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because guys don't know all the workings of a vagina.
No, that's why I will not ever have a male gynecologist ever again. I don't know why for years I went to a male gynecologist and, like, I would have issues. Like, one time I had a bad rash that was, like, really itchy all over my vagina. And I, like, went in because I was like, yeah, I got something's happening. And he was like, oh, no, you just have, like, a rash. And I was like, okay, well, are you going to give me something? And he's like, no, just go away. Like, what? I'm so uncomfortable. So I waited 2 weeks. Nothing happened. I went back and I saw a lady doctor and she's like, oh, yes, let me give you something for this. This is blah, 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 blah. I've had it before. It's the worst. Of course. She has a vagina. Why would I not go to somebody who's got a goddamn vagina? Why would I think to go to some guy? I don't understand why most OBGYNs are male. Like, hello?
Are you really that confused as to why most OBGYNs are male?
Because every single job ever is dominated by the male population?
I mean that, and men just love vaginas, and they want to learn all about them so they can be like, I'm the vagina whisperer.
I don't know that, like, men who are obsessed with vaginas necessarily become OBGYNs because they have to watch women take shits and also watch the vagina split open while they have bibbies.
Why do they have to watch women take shits?
When a woman gives birth, she shits herself.
Oh. Did you know that I just learned this thanks to TikTok, that pads, like when girls have a period pad, it doesn't go on your vagina, it goes on your underwear?
You didn't know
I
that?
didn't know. I don't have a fucking vagina. I don't have a period.
Okay. Quick sex ad for people who don't know about pads and tampons. So pads have a sticky backing on them and they stick to panties so that the blood can just drip out onto the pad, and then you roll it up and you throw it out and you put a new one on. The other option is a tampon, which goes inside of the vagina, and it goes like up far enough to where we can't feel it, and there's a string that's attached to it and we can pull it out that way, and you can't leave it in for longer than 8 hours because you can be like, there's also a toxic shock syndrome. There's also cups.
You can reabsorb it.
Yeah, there's a cup that you can use, and it's like this cup, and you squeeze it and then you put it inside and it expands, and it kind of suction cups itself to your cervix, and then the cup fills up and you can pull that out and use that as well. There's
I always
also
wondered how the cups work. That sounds wildly uncomfortable though.
You can't feel it. Like when I have a tampon in, I can't feel it. It's insane. Like you can't feel it. If you have it in right, you can't feel it. Or because it took me years to find the right type of tampon. For years I tried to use Tampax Pearl, but it has this thick braid that like I could feel, and I'm like, I can feel this. This is awful. But there's these new panties that came out where they are like self-absorbing, and I really want to try those because I can't wear pads because of my cysts, because I'm an ogre and I have cysts on my bikini line and pads just rub them. But with tampons, sometimes like after 2 days my vagina's like, hey, I don't want to hold this cotton mouse anymore. Can we is there another situation? So I'm thinking about getting those period panties because, girls have really been raving about them. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, also periods are eggs that aren't fertilized by sperm. It's the body disposing of them. And we have a ton of eggs, but like they start to run out. Like that's what menopause is, when you run out of eggs, if you didn't know that.
Can't you just go to the grocer?
We ain't like chickens. That's why they're like, you're a spring chicken, you're so young. That's what the saying is, because they just be popping out them eggs. Every time I talk to my mom, I'm like, yeah, I'm on my period. She's like, damn, these fucking things just it's like it's never ending. I'm like, I know. It's like it ends and then it's like right back again. So, but that's hilarious that TikTok is what taught you that. I fucking love that. Also, if you have a son, teach your son this stuff. Like they should know like what's going on. And if you're uncomfortable to talk to your kids about sex, like don't be. Like just like if they don't know what sex is, like you should probably tell them, like they're going to figure it out. And if you don't talk to your daughter before she has a period, rude. You need to tell her that there's going to be blood coming out of her, and don't make it be like the scene in Carrie where she starts her period in the damn shower.
Ew. No, I think that like that's like the stuff they should be teaching us like in school. Not that your parents shouldn't have those conversations, but like when they teach you sex ed, it's just like the penis goes into the vagina and then you have a baby, and you should always use a condom or have no sex. And it's like that's all they teach you about sex ed.
I think we also need to talk about like not sending nudes out to people when you get them. How to, there should be more talk about rape. There should be more talk about all of the stuff that's like uncomfortable. I also think it needs to be in sex ed. I didn't even make it to sex ed. Sex ed was 11th grade, and I dropped out in 10th and then did homeschooling. So I never even went. I mean, I know everything I need to know because my parents were whatever, but like, yeah, it wasn't until the 11th grade, so I didn't even make it there.
We did our first sex ed in the 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
Very brief. And then we did it again in the 10th grade in biology class. And that's when they showed us like pictures of what happens when you get chlamydia, which is not what happens when you get chlamydia. You don't get like cauliflower dick. Like that's the other thing, is they use all of these scare tactics, and like absolutely use a condom, and like nobody wants chlamydia, but like I just think the whole sex ed system is like a really fucked up system.
My neighbor, it seems like, has decided to vacuum. So sorry about those really horrendous noises above. Sir, please, I'm recording a podcast. Jesus Christ. He has to hear me sing Phantom of the Opera at 2 a.m., so I guess it's only fair. Yeah, what they don't tell you is that most of them you can get rid of with a pill. They make you think like you're gonna get it and die and your dick's gonna fall off. Like, no, if you get an STD, there's usually a solution.
An STD is a cold for your dick. An STI is a cold for your dick.
Can you hear that?
No, I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay, great. Then I'll chill. It's just so intensely loud above me. You can't hear that?
Nope.
Sounds like a hungry tummy. Okay, but anyway, continue. But yeah, it's like a cold. Like, I mean, I haven't, knock on all the wood, I haven't had one, but I know people that have had them, and that you just take an antibiotic and then bada bang, bada boom. Oh my God, I got my first UTI this quarantine. Holy shit, I was peeing blood. It was awful.
I'm glad I don't have to hear about that anymore.
Oh my God, I was literally talking to Zach on FaceTime the night. I was literally like peeing blood, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm so upset. I'm so uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. And then I Googled all my symptoms, and I was like, oh, I have a UTI. And then they gave me antibiotics and the stuff that turned my pee like brown, and then I was fine, and it went away. But now every single day I worry that I'm going to get another UTI. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I've had my boobs reduced. I've had my wisdom teeth out. I pull my eyelashes out for fun. That shit was most painful. Oh, my eyebrows are growing back. It's so amazing. It's so easy to put them on now that they're growing
back. Getting my teeth pulled out was not bad at all.
Good God, you got your teeth pulled out?
I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth.
Oh, your wisdom. Yeah, the wisdom teeth weren't that bad, but I got mine like cut out when they were still jelly. So they weren't even teeth yet. They just like went in and scraped out whatever was going to be a tooth. If you do it early enough, they're not teeth yet. They're just like a jelly substance that they can scoop out. Oh my God, I'm going to puke. Oh, I'm going to throw up.
You can talk about that, but you couldn't talk about when I sliced my thumb open yesterday.
It was on FaceTime, and you were like, oh my God, I just cut my thumb so deep. And I was like, no. I just didn't want to hear about your deep thumb cut. I'm sorry. I just didn't want to faint. But anyway, normally I ask like the last 2 questions for my podcast, but I've already asked you those, I believe. So I will ask you, what advice do you have to somebody as he yawns at my final question, ladies and gentlemen? What advice would you give to somebody who wants to start podcasting or hosting or following their dreams?
Because, you know, I'm just the best podcaster and host ever, and I tell you all the time.
That's not what I mean. I just mean you make your living off of podcasting and yourself. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to do what you're doing since you do it so well?
I mean, it takes a lot of like work, and then you have to put in the time. I think that's like the biggest thing is, I mean, one, pick a topic that you really are like die hard passionate about, even if it's like something you think might be stupid or silly. Cause like I've done No Filter now. It started, in 2015? So it's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. And the show that it was at the beginning and the show that it is now are 2 completely different shows. Like, yes, it was still me, but like at the beginning, I would try to mix in all of these different topics. And then I realized like, you know, I really love like reality TV and pop culture. So when I started centering the show around just reality TV and pop culture and entertainment, that's when the show really began to peak, and all like the wellness lifestyle stuff that I used to do, I made that its own show, which is where #adulting came from. So now #NoFilter is where I talk about tea and gossip and dish, which, I mean, some people would have been like, that sounds like a really silly show. Like, you're not E! News. And I'm just like, calm down, bitch. Pay my bill. Watch me. So I think like find something that you're like really interested in, even if you're like, you know, like a nerd and you're like, I love like phones, or I don't know, whatever.
Somebody else will like it as well.
Yeah, or like periods. You can make a whole podcast about periods and like what Katie just talked about. You can like teach people. But yeah, like find a topic that you're really interested in and like put the work in. Katie knows like it's not easy running a podcast. It's not easy taping and uploading and getting equipment. I think people think that you have to have all the right equipment and you have to know what to do exactly, but it's like just get started. You're gonna mess up. Yeah, just start. And you're going to mess up and you're going to figure it out as you go. It took me 5 years to get my show to where it is right now, but like it was a journey and it was a process, and like, you know, do it. So just get up and do it.
my very first podcast episode, my mics didn't work. So it's like my computer audio. I still posted it anyway because I spent time on it and like it was my first episode. And even now, like my podcast is about to get an upgrade. And I've been doing it for 2.5 years. And I think another thing is like people assume, like you said, that it's really easy. And then they do it for a month and then they never go back to it because it didn't give them the instant gratification that it's gotten. Like it's going to take a minute.
That's so annoying is when everyone comes to me and like, I want to start a podcast. And I'm just like, why? And they're just like, it just seems like a thing to do. And I'm just like, okay. And then they do it. And like you said, they try it for a month and that's why I stopped like giving people podcast advice as much unless I see they're really serious about it, because then they're like, help me. And then I help them get it off the ground and launched and set. And then eventually it's just like, they get bored and they're like, it's too much work and it's too much time. It's too much money. And it's like,
well, one of the worst parts is like listening to the sound of my own voice. Cause like after this, I'm going to edit it, upload it, do the video, make the photo. And in my head, I'm always like, oh, I'll be done with that in 30 minutes. And then it's 7:00 and I'm like, oh shit, that took so long. But it's so worth it. Like I love fucking doing this. So also make sure that you really want to do it before you start it.
Yeah, that's why you have to pick a topic that you're really interested in. And it'll, and then
like I picked sex.
Katie's
I fucking love sex.
Katie loves sex.
It's a good time. Who doesn't fucking love sex? It's so great.
I like sex.
Oh, God, I love it. I think my eyes just rolled in the back of my head.
They did. They really did.
Where can they find you? Where can they listen to your shows?
Just Plain Zack all over the internet. Not Justin, but JUSTPLAINZACK, because I spell it with a CK, not a CH, because I know how to spell. Just Plain Zack all over the internet. And then I have 2 podcasts. One of them is called #NoFilter with Zack Peter. We talk about reality TV news and tea, and I have reality stars on my show, and I pick their brains and ask them all the questions that their publicists don't want me to ask them. And then I have #Adulting, Life Hacks to Get Your Shit Together, and that's a lifestyle hacks show that like helps you like have better sex and launch your brand from home. So if you are interested in podcasting, that's like a good show to listen to, and like why you should be, drinking your coffee out of a metal straw to keep your teeth white. I'm full of hacks.
Oh my God. Thank you for coming on. This was a blarst.
Thank you for inviting me.
If you want more of my stupid face and more of my content, you can follow me everywhere at Little Baby Kates, and make sure to check out my podcast, See You Next Tuesday, as if I'm signing off of AfterBuzz. You're all listening to See You Next Tuesday. And also make sure to become a patron on my Patreon. New and exciting stuff is going to be coming to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/littlebabykates. I post all of my video episodes early. Like you get everything early with my Patreon. So if you want all the exclusive stuff, come on over. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to see you again next Tuesday. Go out, be the best person you can be, and suck as much dick as you possibly can. And Black Lives Matter. Bye, y'all.